Thank you again for connecting with today's The Reframed Brain podcast episode. This is Erica Savage, the founder and host, extending a personal invitation for you to join our community where you can receive my 5 best brain health tips and a playlist curated with you in mind. Please go to thereframedbrain.com. Thank you again and be well.
Well, happy Monday and welcome to the Reframed Brain podcast, where we center brain health and unseen injuries. I am the founder and host, Erica Savage, and I'm so delighted that you have tuned in today. So whether you're listening by YouTube or you find yourself listening by one of our select podcast platforms, I'd like to say happy Monday to you and welcome again to the Reframed Brain podcast. Now, if you're not yet a part of our wellness community, if you'll go to the reframebrain.com, there you will receive my 5 best brain health tips and a playlist curated with you in mind. So make sure you connect with us. Now, I'm very, very excited for today's podcast episode, and I hope that you hear the theme that runs through this episode. It is confidence. You say, Erica, how does confidence, what does that have to do with brain health? What does that have to do with unseen injuries? It really all relates to mindset. So when we're thinking about how we posture ourselves, how we see ourselves, what type of self-talk we are engaging in, I want you to think about this next guest and her prevailing message. Tonya N. Sloans, Esquire, found herself inspired to perform her best in the marketplace when wearing pearls on every important occasion. Her power look is always completed with pearl necklaces, earrings, and bracelets. Whether showing up as an attorney to offer legal advice, delivering a keynote address to educate women, or brunching on Sunday with girlfriends, you can always find Tonya in her signature pearls. Now she is sharing this inspiration with women everywhere to help women show up more confidently, make more power moves, and look the part of it all. Help me, Reframe Brain community, to welcome Tonya N. Sloan, Esquire, to the Reframe Brain podcast. Welcome, Tonya.
Thank you so very much. It is an absolute pleasure to be with you today.
Well, so very happy to have you on. And you are an attorney. You move very powerfully, have had some really prestigious um, spaces that you've held in the Washington, D.C. area. And so I would like for you to give a little bit more and invite the Reframe Brain audience into not only as an attorney and someone who has also gone through and graduated from Howard Divinity. Could you talk to us about what it means to be a power woman?
Wow. That's a big order to fill, but I'm going to do my best to fill it. Essentially, it's just very simple. It's me taking responsibility to become fully who God created me to be. One thing I realized is that He had given me this gift of business and counseling with regard to business along the way. And that started from studying business in undergrad and deciding that I wanted to be a lawyer and going on to law school. But everywhere I went, I always found myself being the person who loved to talk to people about multiplying money. And business is a great way to multiply money because part of it is God's intention for us to live full, abundant lives. But I also found that people didn't really know how or didn't feel that they could. And for me, with my first job at 14, I saved half, I invested half. And so it didn't matter how little I had, my mindset was set on multiplying. And so it was really, that was the core of the message that God stood up in me. And so I found myself going to law school, but also continuing in this kind of advisory role with all of my friends, all of it rooted in the Word of God. So that's really where the journey to Howard Divinity to really solidify my background as a minister, to further and deepen the role that I served as an attorney in counseling people. That's really what you're doing. You're counseling people about the boundaries of the law, and ultimately helping people really stand up in business and make power moves in business, fully understanding their capability. And so I can't even take credit for being or thinking I'm being smart enough for standing up in these different arenas. It's really just a matter of each individual looking at what God has given you and gifted you with and trying to maximize it in every way that you can.
I love what you said. And the key words that I heard in that were that you are essentially a multiplier. You've been a multiplier since you were a teenager. You talk about counsel, you talk about being an advisor, which means that you have an ear. Certain things that when you come across in conversation, they really do kind of perk up your your listening there to really help give people paths to what it is that they're sharing with you, ways to multiply, ways to do something to go further faster. So I really love that. And you talked about power, being a power woman. So in your creation of Power Woman enterprises, you center much of what you do, again, Tonya, in confidence. So could you share with us what specific experience or set of experiences propelled you to develop your signature line that you talk about in your bio, which are pearls, that communicates confidence, especially for women?
Sure. So I started my career in Washington, D.C. about 21 years ago. I was a tax lawyer for about 13 years and found myself in the midst of a very serious health crisis. I had been diagnosed with ovarian cancer, and I was in my mid-30s. I thought of myself as healthy, worked out, thought I was eating the right foods, and all of a sudden this health crisis just consumed my life. And at the time I was working full-time as a lawyer, and I was in divinity school at night at Howard Divinity. And so, of course, being a woman of faith, I prayed, and the doctors were telling me that I needed to have surgery and have chemo and all these things. And I just really felt in my spirit that God was saying, yeah, you don't need to go to those extremes. You don't need to have chemo. My healing power has already manifested for you. And to be honest with you, I felt emotionally incapable of fully standing up on God's word. The doctors were saying you need to have surgery and you need to have chemo. And I felt like, yeah, I'll have surgery, but I think that'll be enough. And so that was a moment when my emotions were really stopping me from proceeding in the way that I knew God was calling me to proceed. So I really had to take inventory of who was close to me in this health crisis. And I needed to minimize my circle and make my circle, the people who knew what I was going through, only people of faith who could encourage me to stand in faith, to be my own health advocate, to do the research, to find the path to healing that aligned with what God showed me. And really, it was about having confidence in God's ability. And his ability was to direct my steps. And those steps happened to be manifested as steps of confidence. And so would you know that I had this surgery, and the physicians came back and said, you know what, we're not sure what happened in the surgery, but it went so well that you don't need chemo. You're fine. You can really move on from here. And that was an important moment for me. It was a confidence defining moment for me because it showed me that I can trust whatever God says about me and my situation. So if he says that I am someone who is fearfully and wonderfully made, I can trust that. Whatever room I walk into, whatever presentation I need to make, whatever job interview I'm up for, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. And that just, Erica, really just sealed the deal of confidence for me in every aspect of life. And so as a part of my healing, I was ready. I was ready to leave my current job. I was ready to do something different. I did not want cancer to define me. I was grateful to the workplace that had seen me in this limited capacity and needing to heal, but I wanted to do something bigger and better. And that's when the Lord opened the doors for me to become an attorney on Capitol Hill. And so I then transitioned out of nowhere from tax law to being a congressional legal advisor to the members of Congress on the House side, advising them about everything they could and could not do with their money while they were in office. And so it was just a beautiful experience that I will never forget. And is the reason why I said, I can't keep this lesson of confidence to myself. It may manifest as this woman who shows up with pearls in the workplace, but it's deeper than that. It's helping other women carry the message of confidence through pearls, because pearls have historically been known as the jewel that really showcases the high value and power of a woman. Not only that, when a woman's wearing pearls, she looks at herself and she sees a power maker, a power mover, a woman that can make the power deals. She sees herself as that. And then thirdly, what do we think when we see a woman with pearls? We think, oh, she must be somebody and she must know who she is. And so that has really consumed me fully, that I want every woman to hear this message of faith and confidence. But because of my own experience, I know that I physically don't have the ability to engage and reach out to every woman, to sit down with them, to have a face-to-face conversation. My pearls go everywhere that I can't.
I love that. I absolutely love that. It sounds like your pearls doing the work of the Great Commission, that your pearls are going places, as you just eloquently said, that you're not able to be, but you actually embody and you communicate that message through your boutique, through the way that you wear them. And that for the audience, another part is that you've been carrying yourself as a businesswoman for a very, very long time. This is not something that just kind of showed up in your 20s, your 30s. This is who you've been since you were a teenager as well. So the pearls, the high value, the eloquence, the confidence, what you just shared with respect to your experience as someone who moved through a very life-changing situation and came out as a high value pearl herself, that you said, I can't keep this message to myself. I must be able to share this. And this is one of the ways that you do that. So definitely we send honor and love to you. And we thank you for sharing that much, that very personal experience with us as well. And so you mentioned the pearls that you wear. Want people to know that this again is what you're seeing. These are items that are featured on her boutique, and we'll have the links, powerandpearlsboutique.com. So in addition to you being a successful attorney, a boutique owner, one who is a career maximization, you've worked in that area as well. You do media and you share those tips on one of, I would say, the most famous kind of communication mediums, WHUR in DC 96.3, the Daily Drum. Could you share with the Reframed Brain audience, with everything that you just shared, that you went through, that you definitely do trust, that you have an ear and that you do hear from the Lord, that you trust that? And I think that that is wonderful. How do you prepare your brain and your body to provide impeccable deliverables of what we've been witnessing here, listening to you on the Reframed Brain as an attorney, as an entrepreneur, and as a media expert?
Erica, that is an excellent, excellent question. The question itself is educational. Your question tells us that even when God gives us a gift, we still have to prepare. He may gift you in particular areas, but you don't leave it there. you develop it. And so I am grateful to have had the opportunity to share on WHUR a couple of times a year for the past several years. I do prepare for those. First of all, in speaking about particular topics, I speak on topics that I'm familiar with, that I'm passionate about, that I am continually researching because it's an area of interest to me. Career advancement for women that is rooted in principles of faith and confidence. And so it's ongoing preparation for me. But when I know an appearance is coming up, being a woman who both has a full-time job and a business and many other responsibilities, I have to carve out specific time to show up to give expert advice in a way that resonates with the audience. And so that begins with really initially just carving out time to just breathe, to just relax, to think about the topic that I want to speak about, and not in, in a stressful kind of way, just what comes to mind, just letting things flow. And then after that, there are two additional steps that involve reading. One is I always go back to reading my own thoughts and material. I've written articles on topics related to career advancement that are important to me. And I go back to read my own writing to fill myself up on confidence, to remind myself that I am the expert in this endeavor, and that is the reason why you are invited to speak. And I think that's very important whenever a woman is speaking or presenting, whether it's on a podium in front of thousands of people or in a job interview. Remember that you get the job interview because they believe that there's something in you that aligns with their need. And so I read my own material for that very reason. And then thirdly, I read the latest on whatever the area of discussion is, because I do not have all of the information that is available. I want to know what others have to say about the topic. I want to know what's being said on social media about the topic. I want to know what's being said on Twitter. And I believe that's an important step to be able to give yourself time and space to assess the perspectives of others on the topic. And so taking all those things together, once it's time to hit the air, I feel confident. Even if I don't know the questions that I'm going to be asked, I've already filled myself up on confidence. I've already reassured myself that I am an expert in this area. And I've also prepared for the moment overall. And so that's what I do to prepare. It's a series of steps that make me feel good about speaking publicly in this radio form or any other.
Oh gosh, I love that. So you talked about breathing, you read your own thoughts, and then you also make sure that you're current via social media, trustworthy tools on the information, the topics that you're going to deliver. And one other thing I want to add to this is that she is a workout enthusiast. So she also meal preps. She also works out daily. So those are additional things that you do to help prepare your brain and your body for the robust life that God has given you. This has been such a great conversation. A couple things I would love for you to do, if you would name the pieces that you're wearing so people will know when they go to Power and Pearls Boutique, how they're able to purchase those. And then you do have a private Facebook community. If you could let people know how they can connect with that. And then also, do you have any upcoming events, and share any social media handles?
Yeah, absolutely. I just love this look that I'm wearing today. It's one of my go-to looks. I'm actually wearing the class act earrings, just a small gold hoop with a nice mid-sized pearl on the end. It's a classic piece that takes you from work to evening effortlessly. I have some business to take care of during the day, and then I am hanging out tonight, and the class acts are coming with me. And then this is our top seller. It has been the top seller for the past 2 years. It's the pearl cachet necklace, which is designed to look like a collar. As you can see, you can wear it with a top that's collarless, or you can wear with a top that has a collar. And next month, it's actually launching in a variety of colors. And so the pearl cachet necklace is available on the website, powerandpearlsboutique.com. But in addition to going to the website, if you just want to be in a community of women who love seeing themselves in pearls, who want to see other women going to the next level, you want to join us in our private Facebook group called Power and Pearls Runway. If you just go to Facebook and you search Power and Pearls Runway, you will follow us. I would be happy to admit you. As a matter of fact, this Monday, I am going to be making a very special announcement, a big announcement in the private Facebook community, because powerandpearlsboutique.com is growing, is going to the next level, and we'd love to have you there with us. In addition, you can find me on all social media platforms at Power and Pearls. I'm excited to have shared with you all today.
Oh gosh, we're so excited to have you. So I hope that you all are watching my YouTube. If you happen to be listening, please go to the Reframed Brain podcast on YouTube so that you can see these lovely pieces that Tonya just made mention of. And if you're like, well, Erica, give me a visual, think Melody Hobson. And that should be the reference for you. I am so excited and thankful that you did agree to connect with us on this platform, Tonya. It has been a joy to know you. And just as we prepare to sign off, I want to share with everybody with regard to the earlier conversation that we were Tonya was having, talking about her own health crisis and how she made her circle very small. When I was going through my and still actively healing from my brain injury, those early months where I couldn't have a lot of people around me because I could not tolerate a number of humans around me, that this was the woman who actually walked with me. She was at my house every week, ministering to me, just listening to me talk for many months. And so it is important to have people of faith, as Tonya talked about early, when you're going through crisis, because you absolutely want to be in agreement for whatever God has said for your life. So I honor you. I appreciate you. I publicly thank you, sis, for being so wedded to my healing, which is why a part of the reason why I am here and thriving and will continue to thrive. So thank you for sharing your message of confidence, your message of power, your message of, if you see it and you want it, you absolutely can do it, because you are a living testimony of that. Tonya N. Sloans, Esquire, thank you.
I appreciate it. And let me just say, I got my breathing practices from the Reframed Brain podcast. Let me give credit where credit is due. The Reframed Brain podcast has given me my breathing techniques and my dance break techniques as well. Hey. So that's what keeps us power women moving forward in power.
Amen. I absolutely agree with you. So again, Tonya, thank you so much for joining us. And for the Reframed Brain audience, definitely appreciate you. Please continue to connect, share this with someone that you know needs some inspiration, or you feel like could really be lifted up through this message. It is always a pleasure to have you all connect. And remember, Reframed Brain community, we do this work, we do this journey, one beautiful breath at a time. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Be well. Bye-bye.
Thank you again for connecting with today's The Reframed Brain podcast episode. This is Erica Savage, the founder and host, extending a personal invitation for you to join our community, where you can receive my 5 best brain health tips and a playlist curated with you in mind. Please go to thereframedbrain.com gmail.com. Thank you again and be well.